home, really, compared to many of the other contenders. Draper wants to put an end to all this. Hands it over to Guelphy. Draper wants it back. The brush off, runs into space, outside of the boot. He enticed them, he sliced them, he diced them.
As if we were ever going to start with anything else. Sammy Draper. It was just always going to happen, wasn't it? He had that in him. He's the kind of guy that would take it from the ruck, give one handball, get it back, and check side it from 20 out.
It was pretty awesome. Brought a massive smile to myself. I'm sure it did to a lot of Essendon supporters. It was just, he is a really important person at our club because of the culture I think he creates and the joy. And you can see the players. What I noticed too was when he kicked it, like players on the other side, like on the wing, were like, yeah, woohoo!
Yeah, and the shots from the bench as well, they all had a big giggle about it. You could see Truck mouthing fuck off, which was just great. I
think with the year we've had, the guys like that around the club are really important.
Really important, but just, I mean, normally you associate that kind of miraculous goal kind of thing with a small.
Yep.
When you've got, and I mean, he gets caught several times, but if he does that once every couple of games and can kick those sorts of goals, no issues.
Every once couple of games, he's going to take home a lot of cars, Sam.
You still get a car?
I don't know, but that's how I remember it.
Anyway, what a goal. What a goal.
And even Eddie Betts was like, I think Eddie Betts said something online, you should get the goal here just for the celebration afterwards, because he's running along and he's just, I think the commentator said, they can't catch him. They can't catch him.
He got faster. He got faster after he kicked it.
And then after the game, I noticed that he was still running around geeing all the crowd up, like, all the main team standing at the gate ready to go down. They're all waiting for him. He's still running around sort of, yeah!
Come on, Sammy, get on with it.
Oh, he's infectious. I really believe that. I'd love him to have a leadership role in the next few years as he grows into himself, and into his sort of style of play.
Yeah.
Him as a vice captain would be amazing, I reckon.
He's awesome in the rooms. And that guy, not just the goal, right? The goal was amazing and all that. But the time of the game it was too. Gold Coast came out that last quarter and they were pushing more than they'd pushed the whole game.
Yep.
And he went, nah, having none of this.
Yeah.
Love it. Anyway, Essendon 14-19, 103, defeating the Gold Coast Suns 8-7-55. Disposals merit 36, 17 of which came in the third quarter, 86% efficiency, 14 score involvements and 9 clearances. Phenomenal game from him. Redmond 34 touches, including 9 score involvements and 10 marks. And then McGrath and Shield had 29 each. For the Suns, Miller 28, 12 of which came in the last quarter. Anderson 24 and Lecurcius 22. In front of the sticks, Stringer 4, Wright, Draper, of course, Martin and Jones 2, Durham and Phillips with 1. For the Suns, Chol, Casbolt and Day 2, Rankin and Lecurcius 1. Worth noting there too, Chol and Casbolt both got their 2 in the first quarter. So,
they did too.
Did Wright.
4 goals they kicked in the first quarter were just to their 2 forwards. Whereas ours were a bit more spread. Yep. I must say too, one quick thing I want to just jump in is Nick Martin is continually doing it week in and week out with 20 touches and a goal or 2.
Yeah,
I think he's nearly at 20 goals for the year and averaging over 20 possessions. That is phenomenal. If there was no other Nick, if there was no Nick Dacos,
he'd be up there. Well, yeah, that's the problem, isn't there? Dacos has absolutely got it won.
Yep.
But it's funny you say that. He was overtaken this week by Stringer to be second in our goal kicking.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, Stringer did kick a few years.
Before the 4, Nick Martin was second in the club goal kicking.
He'd nearly finished comfortably third, though, wouldn't he?
Probably, yeah. I didn't look beyond that. But not sure that's a great thing, but great for Rusty.
No, well, I think it says a lot about our team, the first half of the year, and this is probably what we're seeing now in the second half of the year. How do you feel about the vibe of people? There's a lot of feedback about us sort of, this is all just, we'll do the same again next year and not win games and blah, 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 get all their hopes up. And
I'm cautious of it because we've been there.
Yep.
last year even we won a lot of games later in the season. It was way more back-ended than front end. I think we were 2-6 last year.
Yeah, we were. Yep.
I see it a bit more, which is probably a good little segue into a couple of players. And my hype, my positivity comes from Hobbs.
Yep.
Just a couple of little things he does. He wasn't brilliant by any stretch, but
we did some brilliant things.
Set up 2 goals. Definitely set up 1. I can't remember if the first one
there was 2
was
or 3 because there was a couple of beautiful kicks to Stringer.
Yeah, well, half forward, got the ball, so ran in fast, got the ball, did a little pirouette and a handball over the back of his head straight to Caldwell running past.
Yep.
Amazing. And then a bit later, I think first quarter as well, he balls on half back, burst through the pack, clean as you like, pick up, got the ball going, and we had like 4 players running into open goal, basically.
Yeah, it was Langers, wasn't it? Yep.
Clean.
But there were 2 others, one where he read a ball off the pack, he hit it, he ran forward, and he kicked a little centering kick to Stringer, who went back and kicked the goal. So, look, and I agree, look, it's moments, it's the little things like that you look for that go, well,
in first-year players, you just want bits. You don't need to be brilliant. I mean, we can't all be Dacos. 40 touches and 3 goals. Wow.
I mean, we've got one there.
Well, yeah, we'll get to Collingwood later. But it's those little moments of just, 1, being clean, 2, the fact he was clean at speed is crucial.
Yep.
The only knock on him I've got is his weak foot. He doesn't seem to like...
No, well, his kicking's a bit of a letdown. But the other thing I will mention too is I think he's coming 4th or 5th or something like that in our tackling. Like he's had another 6 tackles on the weekend. So that's a great thing, again, for a first-year player, that to have that want and desire to tackle.
And that's not the first game we've seen bits from him either. It's just the couple of those moments were brilliant, not just solid.
Yep.
Probably should talk about McGrath. We'll get to him. Merritt. It's quite some game. 36 touches to be 14 score involvements, and he only hit the scoreboard once himself. 9 clearances. Is it? I'll throw a question at you without notice. Does Parrish not being in the side work better for Zach Merritt?
I think it works better for Caldwell because Caldwell's getting a lot more midfield.
Wasn't my question there, Jim.
Well, I think that something happened to Zach Merritt through the year where he wasn't getting and I don't know if it was the Parrish thing because last year, and maybe it was because Shield wasn't in the team, but last year he was getting a lot of centre bounce attendance. So he was that main midfielder. Him and Parrish were the 2 main in the guts guys. Mm-hmm. The start of the year, that started that way, but then Merritt was sort of pushed out to more of a wing. And I don't know why. I mean, I can't answer that stuff. I'm not in the rooms when they're making these decisions, but for whatever reason that affected his game time. Maybe he was injured. Maybe they were looking for a different balance. Maybe they were trying to get Hobbs in there. Maybe they were trying to get more Perkins in there, mixing things up. And that's totally understandable. But certainly in the last 4 or so weeks, he's played more of that much more midfield sort of centre bounce attending midfield role, and it's shown that what he can do because I love his ball use. Like him with a half a second and that left foot can really hurt teams.
He's such a good decision maker as well. There was a moment, possibly second quarter, where he, for all intents, looked trapped in our defensive 50. He didn't know where to go. He didn't know what to do, and he kind of faffed about for a couple of seconds. Eventually found a kick target 25 straight ahead, didn't go sideways. He found that kick up middle, kept running, got the ball back and set up a score. Just the composure.
Well,
is not we've looked
funny you say that too. The other thing I noticed for him too was he's running to get marks and running to get, help players. Like there was McGrath and Kelly, and I think Shieldman did it too. Like there was a few moments where you could see we were a bit stuck on a wing or something like that. There was no options, and an Essendon player came out of the angle of the camera shot, sprinting away from their player to just give them an option. They got a little short kick, which gave another short kick, which got us out of that little hole. Whereas at the start of the year, that wasn't happening. Again, I can't explain why. We were just bombing it long, and that was not working.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. We still bombed it a little bit, but
we're bombing it from 80 out, so we're hitting about 40. Instead of we're bombing
it. That though is change angle.
Yeah.
Which creates space and does all that. And I mean, it's a very different side to the one. Even that Sydney game was on the first Sydney game was only 7 weeks ago or thereabouts.
Yeah.
That side's come a long way since then.
Is it confidence? Because they look
Changing
like they're
system
willing to take the
little
game
bit.
on now.
Yeah, maybe that's all that they needed, just a bit of license to, and it's evident in Hind and Redmond, who I want to talk about next, that they've just got a bit of license to run. And
well, Redmond coming off that halfback line at a centre bounce. There was one where he hit full pace going past the midfielder. I can't remember who it was who shot out a handball, and that was not happening.
No. Commentators were pissing me off because they kept mentioning the same thing over and over again, like why the forwards come off the ground. They must have heard that 50 times. But one thing they kept saying a lot was they're in Hind's, I can't remember what it was now. He's in his chemtrails. They're stuck in his wake. They couldn't get near him. And they mentioned it 5, 6, 7, 8 times because he's just constantly gut running.
Yeah.
Off back.
And the other thing too, something else has changed, I reckon, in the fact our matchups down, or not matchups, but our lineup down back. Kelly's playing much more of a one-on-one. He's got a target. It's usually a smaller. This week it was Rankin. The week before it was Cameron. The week before that against Sydney, it was it Heaney and a little bit of Papley. But he's really focusing on a play. Whereas earlier in the year, he was playing on talls, he was playing on shorts, he was moving around, he was playing loose, he was,
So does that come down?
Something's changed in that role because it looks like Heppel's gone more to the wing, which has left him there to play that role.
Does that come down to BZT a little bit as well?
Well, probably. BZT's now holding down talls.
A big solid guy there that lets Kelly play a role.
You can leave BZT by himself too in a defender. And he's making really good decisions, like reading the play. There was a moment with Sam Day. They tried to kick it to Sam. BZD got in front of it, got into a good position and took the mark.
And there was one, I think, third quarter that this is what's actually really impressive is that we're making good decisions constantly. Yeah. Every time I can remember one of our players making the decision to come off his man, it worked. They impacted the contest, and BZT did one where he got absolutely crunched, but he made the right call.
Yep. And Redmond did one too where he left a man and gave a big crunch on a tackle.
Yep. Oh, is that where he absolutely destroyed him? Yes, that was.
And then helped him back up.
Yeah, fair enough. That was a phenomenal tackle.
So some things click, and I think those sort of things, those decisions are about confidence. You're getting more confident in what you can do and you can get away with. Whereas at the start of the year, we were just being sliced and diced by any team that wanted to go forward, and we just did not know how to defend.
Sliced and diced like Sammy Draper?
Yep.
Sliced him, he diced him?
It's much better expression in this term than what Sammy... He didn't slice and dice.
No, he didn't entice either.
He didn't entice. He just pushed one guy away and kicked a goal.
Some awful commentary. If anyone out there in the world of where we're talking to has radio commentary for that goal, I'd be very interested.
Does anyone think that what's Dwayne? Does anyone like him as a commentator? Put up your hand, because I find him one of the worst.
Yeah, he's not great. I don't like him, and I can't stand Jared Healy, who we were both on.
And Dermy, they usually put the three of them together, especially on GWS or Hawthorn games.
You know who saved the day yesterday?
Who?
Sarah Jones.
Sarah Jones, as always, yep. And I don't mind Eddie. He's a bit quiet.
Eddie's all right. They need
to turn up his microphone. I can't hear him half the time.
He's got great content. He struggles with the delivery a bit, but he's got good content. Sarah Jones, get her on commentary. She's great. And she's Essendon, which helps. The other two I really want to talk about in terms of game changers. McGrath started phenomenally, 11 touches in the first quarter, was absolutely everywhere. Awesome. I reckon he had 10 of them in the first 10 minutes.
Very much like that St Kilda game. He blitzed it at the first. Yep. Really set the tone for the game.
Yep. 11 marks for Pidge too, which is pretty impressive. Yep. 8 score involvements.
There was one moment where he was in really thick traffic and he just danced.
A little dance, yep.
He danced his way out. It's beautiful to watch.
I said that about him, and I've said that about Shield. It's a little, not their entire play, but their ability to sidestep and move like that is Chris Judd. He was the...
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Shields have got pace that I haven't seen before. There was one moment in the centre bounce where he just ran away from them without a worry.
Yep.
And Gold Coast aren't slow midfielders.
Nope. And on Shield, if I can, just reel off a few of his stats. So 29 touches, 7 clearances for him, 5 tackles, I think it was. Yep, 5 tackles, 9 inside 50s. And
Did he have a shot though?
no, we could have had a shot a couple of times. I don't mind being selfless.
No, I'd like to
The
see him
first
just
one, he kicked
have a
one, I
ping.
think. The second one, he did the right thing. It just
Missed
went
by a
over
lot.
Pete's head. Yeah.
Oh, just missed by a
That'll
lot.
be nice because we're in a good mood with Dill at the moment. But it's just the pace that he hits the ball and he's gone.
Yep.
That's it. He's so often.
But I wouldn't mind it if they said to him, look, mate, feel free to have a ping at those ones when you're coming inside 50. Just have a lefty and see what happens.
Unless he's got that Peter Wright option. He just missed the kick. That was just a skill error. If you've got that option, go for it. But if not, don't.
But I don't think
something.
Peter Wright would feel too badly burnt if that sails through over your head.
When you've got 5 meters on your opponent, I reckon you might. But he kicked that lovely goal against Carlton, set shot from 50 plus. He can kick him. I don't know about on the run. Maybe he's just dead and you can't get the distance. But
but to go back to that earlier point about Merritt and his assists, it's one of our probably weaknesses with our midfielders is that we don't have a lot of like Shield, Parrish, and Merritt and Caldwell.
Don't kick a lot of goals.
Don't kick a lot of goals. So I guess my point there is that with Shield, that he should start trying to ping a few.
But is that Rusty Martin now though?
I don't think
Could
Rusty
he
Martin's
be
going to
the
become
goal
our
kicking?
gun midfielder that kicks.
Not gun mid, but he's a mid that kicks goals or a winger.
Yeah,
that kicks goals. He's thereabouts. Langer's had 3 points too.
Here's another question without
notice. Yep, my favourite kind.
Yep, Stringer. Would we say now that we prefer him more forward and less mid because of the other mids we have that can go in and do his role?
I think if you're trying to make an impact, start of a quarter or something, chuck him in the guts. If you're down and you need something phenomenal, miraculous, then chuck him in there. If not, just get him around the ball in the forward line. Yeah,
and because you've got Hobbs and Perkins when he's back, they're the sort of guys I think that bring in a little bit of difference in the midfield. Hobbs is like, give him another year or two and he's going to be a bit of a bull in there. Caldwell's doing a great tagging role. And on that, I don't know if we go to anyone I don't know if we actually have to go to Nick Dacos at Collingwood for the upcoming game, but there's no one that jumps out at me, Collingwood, that you chase.
Let's save that for the end. We talk about the next week at the end.
Sorry. But Caldwell's being like, so the Stringer thing, he's not really required in there at the moment. And he's so valuable forward that, because of his forward craft, like he leads at the ball a lot. He's a beautiful kick from outside, like from 45, 50 out, he can kick a nice ball. He's crafty, he's dangerous, he can crumb. For me, he becomes a permanent forward now.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, unless you need you're desperate.
Point of difference for
basically.
Some reason.
Yeah, I'm all for that. I want to talk briefly about the ruck situation because I reckon tactically we did that incredibly well. Obviously, Draper, 2 goals and
a beautiful mark
goal. Phillips with a goal as well. One of the more hilarious marks I've ever seen.
Leave him alone, you bully.
You just about Harbour Bridged it backwards, I reckon. But Witts had 34 hitouts, which is more than Draper 23 and Phillips 13. But Chol, who did ruck for a little bit, had no hitouts.
Really?
Yep. And you were saying this to me today during our little lunch chat.
Sam and I have lunch
together. Were clearly Phillips on Witts.
Yep.
Crashing and bashing, and then letting Draper get the advantage over Chol. Or Dave, who was the other.
It was really smart. There's another thing too in the last 5 or so weeks is tactically we've been much better than we had early in the year, like tagging, or we'll call it tagging, like playing the 2 ruckmen the way we did, like Kelly sticking to a man, like even Guelphy playing particular roles.
Guelph, 10 tackles. Yeah, 10 tackles.
But he's been playing particular roles. Like you can see something's changed in his role too.
And it's working really well for touches, him. 10 tackles.
He's been one of our best 5 or 6 players the last 4 weeks easily.
Yep. And 92% efficiency too for Guelph.
Yep. Just get Braden Ham out of the thing.
He's only the sub. Back on the rucks. Witts is certainly top 5 ruckman.
He's the most hitouts in the AFL.
Very good ruckman that he did win the hitouts, but he really didn't have the impact he normally does.
No.
That's down to the midfield as well.
Yep.
But I think tactically the rucks, whatever we did, which was identifying the matchups that work better for us, and that is the benefit of having two recognised ruckmen that we harped
100%.
on about at the start of the season. And I will jump forward to Collingwood just for a second. It'll be interesting if...
Oh, you're allowed.
Yeah, I'm allowed. I'm the host. It'll be interesting if Grundy comes back this week and if they keep Cameron and play that in the same way, or how they manage that, or if Cox goes out and Cameron plays forward. Because right now our ruck is somewhere we're really...
Yeah, it's a threat to other teams.
Benefiting from, not just because Draper can kick phenomenal goals.
Because again, in this example, if you're talking Collingwood as they are now, you'd charge Phillips to go against Cox. We might even go Draper against Cox is a real mess up. And Cameron, then he's not really a threat to us, because if it's Draper or Phillips, either of them can take him in the centre bounces.
Yeah. I think the strength for Cameron would come as a forward.
Yeah, but
hurt us going back
BZT's playing well enough to be pretty decent against him.
Not really something Witts does a lot of, kick goals.
Collingwood's biggest threat if they throw Cox forward and they go in with the three tools, because we can you can handle Cox. No doubt he'll probably, if I say that, he'll kick 10, like he'll have a day out against us.
Do you know what's been really good for my mental health in these players? And this sounds stupid because of what's happened with Collingwood. Social media. Yeah. Seriously, Ginnivan's not a cockhead. He's just misunderstood. Mason Cox is a really nice dude. He's just a flog on the football field. It's great. Get around him. Not really, but you know what I mean. I don't hate them quite as much, but I still don't want Mason Cox kicking bags against us, because
no, I don't want that either.
Something about Americans in sport, they just have that swagger.
They have the swagger with it when it's not required.
Yeah, well, true. I'm going to, before we keep going on Collingwood, I need to get to the Willie Dick, who am I? So are you ready?
Oh, yeah, well, I'm ready. I'm
not overly happy with this one, but
you're not overly happy with it.
Well, I can tell you that. I went to the first time we played Gold Coast and I tried to pick a player, but do you remember the first time we played Gold Coast?
We flogged them, didn't we? Wasn't that some
record who
setting?
Kicked all the goals?
It wasn't Remus, wasn't it?
Yeah, kicked 8.
Cole Remus. Isn't he the one that got us in all the trouble?
Yeah, well, he started it. But yeah, I'm not doing it. Am I on Cole freaking Remus?
Cole Remus is my first guess.
No, wrong. For 6 points, through the big sticks, I debuted for Essendon in 2010, playing just the last 3 games of that season.
In 2010?
Yes.
So that means he's 12 years. He could be still playing, but he might be at the end of his career. Michael Hurley.
Solid guess, but he did play in 2009, so no.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that, actually.
I don't know if he debuted in 2009, but I know he played in 2009 because you destroyed the Hawks in the game that got us into the finals that year, which we lost to Adelaide by 100 points, but don't tell anyone that. For 5 points, haven't seen any guesses come through the chat. I played 57 games for Essendon.
Not many.
You don't have to guess again. I'll give you.
Yeah, no, but I like to, Sam. I like to at least try and say a player's name. Around Hurley. Gumbleton. I don't know. I always go to Gumbleton.
You do, but not Gumbleton. For 4 points, I backed up my debut season with 20 games in 2011, kicking 34 goals.
2011, kicking 34 goals. That's decent.
It's gettable for you now.
24...
It's a very generous 4 points.
Yeah, I should know that. So he's nearly our leading goal kicker, would have been in 2011. We got a lot of goals for us in 2011.
It's 11 years ago, man. I don't expect you to remember that.
What was that?
It's 11 years ago. I don't expect anyone just to know that off the top of their head.
Yeah, I don't know. Go.
All right, for 3 points. I wore the number 12 before Mark Bagley took over the number in 2014.
Well,
and I will say, I did not know he wore the number 12. This really surprised me.
Wasn't Welsh played more games than that.
I would say Welsh was before this particular person.
Yeah. 12. Oh, no.
Just go with
No,
it. If
no.
it's in your head, just say it.
Well, it starts with P, but I can't think of it. No.
Start with P, so I'll save you.
Okay, I'm starting with P. Go on. Phew.
So I haven't seen a correct guess from the chat. So pretty poor showing from you lot that are here. Yes, so for 2 points. After leaving Essendon, I spent 4 years at the Western Bulldogs and finally 1 at Geelong.
Stuart Caramiri.
Yes, it was Stuart Caramiri.
Ramiri, who was from Maryborough.
Yes,
Victoria.
his parents owned a...
Mine at 10.
Yeah, I remember that as a highlight
I
before.
used to drive through Maryborough on my way home from Bendigo.
Cool story. Yeah, I didn't know he wore number 12.
Yeah, I probably did if...
He was 40, 45, whatever it was.
Yeah, true. I do remember that.
I remember that. Did not remember.
He was an interesting trade out because I quite liked him, and he left because of the drug scandal thing, or did he leave another reason?
We'll never know. He was at the Bulldogs in 2016 when they won a flag, but was not available.
Poor bastard.
Yeah, that sucks. But
I've often thought that if that decision's overturned, does he sue the bloody AFL for the fact that he probably could have been playing in the grand final?
Could have been a premiership player. Yeah, he was a perfect third tall, really.
Oh, very Drake Stringer-like, but without the sort of miraculous, unreal, stupid piss. But great lead up, beautiful kick, strong. Remember that was one he was so fast too. There was one game where he ran back towards goal and just outran everyone.
Yeah, he was quick for his size.
Yeah,
absolutely. The 1 point clue, if you're curious, I am Stuart.
Oh yeah. Now, did he come out of the draft like the mid-season sort of draft? He wasn't an under-18 draft.
You ask follow-up questions.
Quite like Stuart Crammery. He was one of my favourites.
Yeah, same. I enjoyed him. Stuart Crammery was the pick number 43 in the 2009 rookie draft.
Oh, yeah.
So, and he was drafted from the Bendigo Bombers.
Oh, the Bendigo Bombers! See, I want to watch. We used to go watch them play at Bendigo when I lived there.
It's one of my favourite all-time sort of things to yell at the football. Back to Bendigo. Can't say it anymore. Or if they're really shit, I guess you could go back to Bendigo, but they're defunct.
It was quite awesome actually living in Bendigo and being able to go and just watch some of the AFL players playing down at what was the name of the oval down there?
Bendigo.
I played cricket on it.
Did you make any runs? No, of course not. You're shit at cricket, aren't you?
I wasn't shit. That's harsh, but it wasn't very good. Let's all be honest.
Don't see you making 50s in a grand final.
Oh, God. Once. There.
Yeah, once. 1 from 1. That's all I need. If I can just digress to the VFL very quickly before we talk about the Collingwood game.
Yep.
I'm assuming that's it from
today. Look, I probably would wrap up by saying how impressed I've been with a lot of our players. Like, it's really hard. We tried to do our best top 3 in our votes before.
Yes.
And there's guys in there that are playing such good football at the moment, and just so happy to be watching that. Like I've been going into the last few games hoping we kind of lose because of draft picks. Is where my mind's at. And we've definitely
changed now to let's win every game possible, right?
Well, I just want to beat Collingwood. Actually, to be honest, I don't care about probably Richmond as well. No, I don't care about North. They can beat us, so now they can't get a priority pick.
Well, now they've won. I'm less worried about the priority pick.
Yep. So it's just been great to see, and back to that Draper moment, just the joy in the players, because I reckon it would have been a really hard year for the start of the year. Yeah, and I don't think football should be like that. No. I think you should enjoy it. And look, we're the first ones to say we can be a bit shit as supporters. Because we can get pretty pissed off and pretty frustrated because there's a lot of emotion in us too. Like we're long suffering. Hey? Well,
I'm long suffering. You're not. You've seen success.
I've seen success, yeah, but yeah. But anyway, so I think that's for me. It's just, and I know people saying, "Oh, it's just we'll do the same thing next year." Yeah, we might start.
Let's give him a chance.
Let's give him a chance. See what happens. Like you can't just keep going. Oh, that's what's happened in the past, so that'll keep happening in the future. That doesn't. Every other football club has success at some, so I'm sure we'll turn it around.
Every dog has their day. Look at Sydney.
And and I'm telling you, like the youth in this club and the quality of that youth is phenomenal.
Yeah. I'll wrap up too just by saying we should have won that by 100 points. We were inaccurate. a lot in the second half in particular. Gold Coast, a little bit of a great assault because they were shite. They did not offer a yelp for the third quarter. We had the ball locked in our forward half, which is great from us, but you got to.
And they kicked a couple of goals early in that third quarter. I thought, oh, here we go. Yeah, they could be up for it.
Visibly just went like, fuck this. I'm going and going hard.
Yep.
But, the Draper goal, and we
I'll tell you what, I'll try and get him out of that club and get him to Essendon. He's a great player.
I think he's just re-signed. He is a great player, but I hope he stays at Gold Coast.
He could win a Brownlow. He could be very big favourite in this year's Brownlow. He's certainly done not much wrong.
Such a bull.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I think we could have won that by 100 points. Probably should have won it by at least 10, 12 goals.
Yep.
But I have faith now. And that's all I
That doesn't worry me.
I have faith. VFL, a bit of a heartbreaker.
But Hurley got through.
Only played a half. So Gold Coast kicked a goal 28 and a half minutes and then 32 minutes to win by 3 points.
Yeah.
But Jimmy Stewart kicked 4 goals, putting a bit of pressure on possibly Jones, who played okay. Good to have pressure on selection.
Yeah, it's interesting that switch. Obviously, they're over that backline time for him. And it's all
Reed now. Reed's the depth, if not BZT.
Well, that's right. Which is great. I reckon that's great.
Yeah. I'm all for play the kids for Jones, but you still got to have pressure on spots. So that's good.
100%.
And Paddy Voss.
I love Paddy Voss. He's
four goal first half, I might add. And he ended up.
Have you seen him? He's a bull.
He's a bull, yeah. Kicked one of the goals of the year from all reports. I've only seen one video and it was a pretty shirty angle.
And Jai was pretty good too, wasn't he?
Jai kicked 1.
But reports were he was pretty good too. What's exciting about that?
Brozio kicked a goal too.
Yeah, they played him up forward. They were experimenting. They wanted to see if his skills would be useful there. Found that fascinating.
He can kick.
I'll tell you what's good though, and Gold Coast, probably if I looked on the VFL or on the bottom or something like that.
No, Gold Coast VFL are 11th out of 21 teams. We are 17th.
But we seem to be a lot more competitive in the last several. Again, following on from our AFL form, the VFL form seems to be lifting.
Carries across, doesn't it?
And you can see that the better quality of players are coming through in the VFL. And we're seeing some good young kids getting some good quality time in there. And I think that this is all pushing towards that right direction. I just think it's all momentum.
I had extreme faith in Truck at the start of the year, and that's wavered throughout the year.
Wavered strongly.
But I'm back on he's the man.
I don't want Clarkson. I just say the course. I know that sounds stupid. People go, he's the best coach out there and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, but
we believe that Truck can do it. So you can't sack a bloke after 2 years. Just quickly, I want to throw a little cool fact at you before we move on to the Collingwood game. And this is a cool fact, okay? And people listening,
it's not about you, Sam.
Probably know this already. You remember when Carmichael Hunt kicked the goal after the siren to beat Richmond?
Yeah. Oh, joyous moment that was.
The week later, North Melbourne beat Richmond by 4 points.
No.
This was in 2012.
No.
This year, 2022, who was it? Noah Anderson kicks a goal after the siren to beat Richmond.
Win by 2 points.
The week later, Richmond lose to North Melbourne by 4 points.
No.
That's fucking freaky.
What happened the week after that?
I don't know, but
we should research that and put a bet on it.
That's insane.
that is very amazing.
Goal after the siren, that would be unique enough.
But then to lose to the same team by the same amount
the next week.
That's pretty amazing.
We live in a simulation.
I'm going to find out what happened the week after that.
You will never convince me otherwise.
The Matrix.
That's just too.
And the designers got really lazy. We'll just repeat that program from a few years ago. Just play that one again.
Does that mean we get another drug saga? I hope
not.
No. Right. Collingwood, Sunday, 3:20 at the MCG. I will be there.
We do have hosts before we talk about Collingwood.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Do you want to host?
I mean, I don't want to take over your job or anything.
It's on the next page of my little sheet. All right. I forgot it was there.
Come on, Sammy. Lift.
Pretty hard one. Again, I conferred with the AFL coaches' votes because it helps me. 3 to Merit. 3 to Merit was that was a given for me. The next were hard. Redmond 2, Shield 1. McGrath very unlucky in that, but that's who I gave them to.
Yeah, so I went Merritt, McGrath, and Redmond.
No, you did. Yeah, no arguments.
No, look, I love
McGrath
when he's playing like that in that first quarter and that last quarter. And look, Redmond faded in a little bit out too. Shield was brilliant. Hind was brilliant. I mean, it's hard not to have picked those ones. But McGrath, for me, I really feel like he sets the tempo for the team when he plays like he did early in the game. And I really feel that, like in the St Kilda game, and then he was injured the week after that. He's a real, and that's maybe the leadership of him, like, come on, boys, this is how we're playing today.
Yeah. Like I said, no arguments. He had like 3 and 4 touches in the second and third quarter. So I just left him out for that reason alone, but he was very good.
Prick.
Well, you left Shield out. You're a prick.
I had more possessions than Shield. Oh, no, they had the same.
They had the same, clown.
It's like that. That's it. I'm gone.
Just Shield did it more. All right. Pies. Now, I'm just having a look, actually. Brody Grundy's still apparently 2 weeks away. Okay, so we won't have to worry about that.
Darcy Moore's first of all, I'm going to ask you ins and outs for the game.
Well, Darcy Moore's a test for them.
For us.
There is a no-brainer if Perkins is fit. Perko for Snelling. I don't want to harp on too much about negatives, but Snelling was crap and did not give us anything. So,
quick question, how come Snelling can't kick 35 metres?
I don't know. I can kick that far. Surely an AFL footballer can kick that far.
It was a pretty disappointing set shot. Like, it didn't make the distance.
Yeah, I can't kick much more than that, but I can kick more than that.
You have to be straight though, Sam. I've seen you kick beautiful straight balls.
Thank you.
Balls just
put a set of big sticks in front of me, and I can't kick for shit. But
40,000 people cheering at you.
Probably then I can't kick for shit.
A little bit of wee might come out.
Yeah, you 20 meters away, no worries. What was I going to say? Changes. That's it. If Perko's fit, which according to what I'm looking at, he's 1 week, so he's a chance. That's really it. There's no need for Stewart to come in despite the form. There's no need for Voss to come in despite the form. There's no real need.
The Voss thing I wouldn't be against if they dropped Snelling.
Other than Snelling. If it's Snelling for Perkins.
Yeah, but it's just Snelling. Like, if look, I for one would be on the view that Snelling gets dropped. His form in the last 3 weeks since he's come back has been atrocious, and he needs to go back and find that in the VFL. He cannot keep playing. He's not good enough to play AFL at that crappy level. Like, he's not a guy that can get away with, like a stringer who can just still kick 2 goals without much of a hassle, without much doing else. Yep. He's not doing that. So I would say drop him, and I wouldn't be afraid of giving Voss a game.
If not Perkins, though. Perkins is number one.
Of course, if Perkins is not fit, then I'd give Voss a game.
Yeah. The other concern was who got crunched early on. Was it Hobbs?
Oh, Hobbs with his shoulder. So that could be. He might be out
the game, but
he looked very ginger. Like, you could see he was a bit.
So yeah. For Collingwood, I don't think they've got a lot to worry about coming out of their game. If I can just find this. When did they play? There we go. Dacos is obviously the concern. 40 touches and 3 goals off the back of pretty similar stats the week before.
Does Caldwell go to him on the half back line and play as a half forward? And then say you send, depending if Hobbs is all right, does he play more midfield, or if Perkins comes in, does he play more midfield?
Keep going.
Caldwell goes and play a tagging defender role.
Keep going with what works. I don't think it's a tag. It's not a heavy tag. But
no. But it's a restriction.
Midfielder, and it's working for us. So, yeah, by all means, keep going with it.
Because, well, either that, whoever, like if it's Guelphy or whoever, we have to put, and I would hope that after the last 3 or 4 weeks, as I said about the comment about, our coaching seems to be better, that we have to put effort into Dacos and Pendlebury, really. And I think you can shut Collingwood down, personally. I think they're their go-tos. If you can keep them under 20 possessions, those 2 guys, you will shut the whole team down.
We were talking today as well. We need to be aware.
Oh, right.
Aware of Ginnivan and the tackling and what he's going to do. You made a good point that just don't tackle him and see what he does.
Well, I saw some videos really interesting about in one of the games where someone sort of let him, like, because he's really looking for the tackle. Like, that's, the thing. He's not getting, like, he's picking up the ball. He's not handballing it out or anything. He's just looking for the tackle. And one of the players didn't tackle him, and he fell forward, and then he sort of tackled him then and then got pinned.
Yeah.
Pinged, I should say.
Smart. Very difficult thing to
You're not going to do that every time.
Pressure of a game, but
it says something about his mindset.
Between that and just, we have to be effective in our tackling.
Yep.
Go low, go hard, go for the footy,
Yeah, yeah.
Head over the ball, you'll get the free kicks.
Treat him like every other player. Go low and tackle well.
Yeah, but it's something we just need to be aware of. And
Yep.
previously, not so much this week and last week, but before that, Kelly was one that would worry me in that sort of scenario, just a bit sloppy. When you've got BZT, Ridley, and Laverde are all big guys, naturally they're going to probably tackle a bit higher on him than others.
Yep.
Just be aware.
Yeah.
Of what
I think you need to be aware that he kicked 5 goals against us last time, personally, and let's not give him space to do that again.
Prick. These are
because I really don't think they're forward. Like, I don't know Collingwood's last few scores, but I know that I've struggled. Well, they beat Adelaide and North, was it? Yeah,
so
in the last 2 weeks.
They've just scraped past North.
Yeah.
They've just scraped past Gold Coast by 5 points. They've just scraped past North by 7, and now they've just scraped past Adelaide by 5. Yeah. So they've won 8 in a row, which is good, obviously, but they're not being convincing.
The last 3 teams we've just mentioned there are Gold Coast, who are up and down, and then 2 bottom teams in Adelaide and North Melbourne. So they're not like they've been swinging against big boys.
Despite the fact they've won 8 straight, on form, we're actually the better side. At the moment. Who have we beaten? Brisbane, St Kilda, Sydney, and Gold Coast. That's a decent run of teams to beat.
Yeah. St Kilda, Sydney, and Brisbane and Gold Coast, yeah.
Could I have your tip, please?
Well, I'm going to tip us, obviously.
Same.
I'll go into this game not caring again, because if the positive here is if we lose, to draft picks, I'll be excited by that. And if we win, well, nothing wrong with beating Collingwood. Nothing at all.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely nothing. There's no negative that comes out of a Collingwood victory for us. So
margin, please.
41.
Jesus.
Yeah. They got nothing on us.
That's like me territory of unreal.
Yeah, I know. What? I'm up and about, Sammy.
I'll tip us also, only because I think we're just due to beat Collingwood, and I just think it's going to be a big crowd, big day. We got a bit of swagger, and I hope to Christ it continues.
I'll put in a complaint to the AFL though.
Essendon by 17. Go what?
Why is this 3:30, 4:30 Sunday games? What have we done wrong? Who did we sleep with? Who did we?
No, we had that run of Friday night games, so we. Just paying our dues.
Yeah, but so our next few games are like Sunday, 3:20, 4:40, 2:10. Yeah, that's not bad. 4:40, and then the last game is to be announced. Like
the last one's at midnight. What a shit show!
So that'd be awesome if we game at midnight. Imagine that.
Cool. Yeah,
I'd be drunk. Woo!
I'd be tired. I'd be asleep in the stands.
Yeah, I'd have a little nappy before.
I better read some comments before they all disappear on me.
Mm.
Lee Hind, Hobbs is as tough as nails. Love him. He's a big body midfielder and keep him in the middle. When Perkins comes back, put him on the wing. I prefer Perko half forward, mid, but wing.
Yeah.
Phil Truck has given the halfbacks a license to run. Absolutely. Hind and Redmond are killing it.
Well, I wonder if that's also because of guys like BZT, as you're saying, and Laverde. Have been really strong, and Kelly have been really strong and defending well down there.
Yep. Phil also on our conversation about Stringer in the midfield that he's a bailout option for centre bounces.
Yep.
I like that term. Couple of guesses for the old who am I?
Any of them right?
Sorry? No.
Any of them right?
No. We had a Gleeson, a Carlisle, and a Melksham, and a comma.
Oh, yeah, comma. Like with the K, yeah. I remember.
Jeffrey Marr agrees with you. McGrath plays like a leader.
Thanks, Jeff.
I just had to check his name was Jeff because I said Jeffrey. It didn't compute in my head that that's the same name.
I shortened it, Sam. Oh, you're a worry.
Phil's tipped Essendon by 17. Hey, I tipped Essendon by 17. Didn't I?
Only Phil. I trust you more than Sam. I bet you know more.
And Murray's here. He missed out. Missed out on the Who Am I, Muzz? But that's all right. Essendon by 10.
Come on, boys. Come on.
It's been all round.
40 points.
His kind of positivity is just unheard of.
Run away in the last quarter.
Yeah,
right to kick 6.
Team. Just takes the Coleman by storm with 16.
Yeah, he
in one
takes
game.
the Coleman.
I'd be very happy.
Still pretty happy with the fact he's kicked, 42 goals this year?
Yeah, sounds about right. Still 5th or 6th in the Coleman.
And realistically, he's going to kick 50-plus goals by the end of the year, which...
If he can somehow scrape through to 55, 60, that's a really good result.
I'll take 50-plus.
I'll take 50.
Seriously, at the start of the year, or 2 years ago when we picked him up, would we have said, he's a 50-plus goal kicker?
We would have hoped.
No way.
But probably
we wouldn't have expected. How do you reckon, what's the coach at Gold Coast? What's his name?
Dew
feels about that one. Like, not playing him in all year, and then you watch him kick 30 goals one year, now nearly 50 in the next year, going, well, maybe we got that one wrong.
Yeah, and this year's been impressive because he's been so consistent.
Yeah.
He had one little run where he was a bit shit, and that was it.
There's nothing special we've done. He's obviously had the talent. All we've done is given him the confidence to do it, like playing week in and week out.
Every week,
He's like, he marks well, he kicks well. There's not much, like, he could have been doing that at Gold Coast. He could have been doing that instead of, what's his name from Carlton that they got playing there?
Yeah, Levi.
Yeah. And Levi's been good. I'm not going to take that away. But you'd have a 25-year-old doing it instead of like a 32 or 3, whatever Levi Caswell would be.
Yeah. And I think they put all their little eggs in the king basket.
In the king basket. Yeah.
You need a bit of depth. You need
if you had King
club.
and Wright, wow.
And Chol, yeah.
And Chol, wow. That is 3 unreal forwards.
Yes. One last comment and then we'll wrap up. Phil, I want to get everyone calling Harry Jones the Wizard.
Can
we roll with that? Harry Potter, I'm guessing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do it. The Wiz, can we call it? No, we can't call him the Wiz. It was somebody else called the Wiz. That was Jeffrey Farmer, wasn't it?
Don't know. Sounds like he's
it was from Melbourne, wasn't he? The Wiz, I'm sure. Was that the Wiz?
Yeah, it's a different meaning anyway, altogether. All right, we can roll.
I think he was called the Wiz because he was short for the Wizard.
Okay. We can roll with that. The Wizard, Harry Jones. If we forget by next week, I apologise. But
didn't we call him Indiana?
It was Farmer.
Or Henry?
Indiana Jones, yeah, lame. Look, the people are asking for the Wizard, so we'll call him the Wizard. Rusty Martin didn't take off. The day I hear someone call Rusty Martin at the football will be the happiest day of my life.
It'll be me standing next year. Go Rusty!
Other than you.
Oh, right.
Really love that to take off. So just if you're listening and you go to the football on Sunday, just call him Rusty. If I hear it, I'll perk up. No pun intended. And I'll be very happy.
Yeah. Then we'll shout out Go Wizard.
Go the Wiz. Yeah, just did it then by accident. Okay. Anything else from you? It's been a long one tonight.
No, well, it's just, again, I often talk about this, Sam, and I think this is a good thing for men to talk about, the emotional connection or the emotional state of being a football supporter. And I'm up and about. I'm happy with the world when we're winning.
Yep. It's
and to be honest, I don't care when the things happen as long as we win. Like, seriously, end of the year, start of the year, who gives a shit? We're winning.
Yeah, winning is the best.
Yep.
I really would love to just be next year now. I'm really excited for round 1 next year to just either be really disappointed
I'll
or be really
nervous
excited.
as shit at
next
next
year.
year.
Very nerve-wracking.
Nervous.
Give us... we won't get Carlton in round 1. Never mind.
No, we won't get Carlton. We hopefully won't play freaking Geelong, Brisbane and Melbourne in the first.
Well, that is the other benefit. As long as we're in the bottom 6, we'll get a bit of a softer draw too, which isn't great come finals, but it's nice for winning games of football.
And on that, like, we need to just reflect back on that. We did play Geelong, Brisbane, Melbourne, Dockers, Collingwood, Dogs in the first, they were the first like 6 or 7 games.
Yeah.
They're all
it was a
now,
tough run.
One of them, except the Dogs are the only team not in the 8. So.
And that's basically the top 4 was the rest of them.
Yeah. So, like, just, we need to sort of step back and go that we wouldn't have won those games anyway. Like, we were just really, really shit in them, which is the bit we struggle with. Yeah.
All
right.
That
awesome again, as always, Sammy.
Yes, thank you to those here live on Facebook. Glory and Fame Don Pod, if you're interested, 7:30 on Mondays. Otherwise, if you're listening on YouTube, Apple or Spotify, we appreciate you just the same. And go the bloody Dons and go bloody Sam Draper.
Go the Bombers.